Welcome to My Wellness Rewired, Hacking Women's Health. Join Larissa and Malerie as they explore biohacking tips for women based on the latest science and research available today. Let them help you unlock your best self. It's time to hack smarter, not harder, together.
All right, welcome. Today we are rethinking cardio. We are on a high after our strength series, and just knowing our bodies and how muscle helps us function and move forward in our health journey. Really rethinking cardio came into play because how we were trained when we were younger on how to maintain and lose weight told us the more you sweat, the more cardio that you did, that's how you lost weight. And really, as we learned through the Strength Era series, is that you really need muscle. And the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn throughout the day, and you're consistently burning. And so the cardio you only burn while you're actually doing that activity. So it was a very big eye opener. And so we decided to do this little spin-off about rethinking cardio. So today we are going to talk about cardio and how what we've told isn't necessarily the best way to do it. And it's not quite working the same as it once was the older we get.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to talk about what doesn't work as well anymore and what works better. So, first of all,
what works better?
I feel like this is probably the case for all women, but it was always like you've got a bare minimum, get on the elliptical, get on the bike for like an hour. Like you have to get your cardio in. We're on the stair steppers, we're on all these machines, or we're out running forever. And that was the way that you could really burn calories and lose weight or get into really good shape. That was what we always thought it was going to be. It's that long, steady state cardio. But here's the reality about that. This can actually increase cortisol. It can eat into your muscle and it can stall fat loss, especially in perimenopause. So, it's just something to consider that things start to shift as we age. And so as estrogen drops, our bodies are going to respond differently. And we're just a lot more susceptible to stressors than we used to be. So we need to do things that protect muscle while still getting our heart and metabolic benefits.
I am super bummed about because I live a high stressful life. And so it is crazy that everything that I've sacrificed and worked hard for is really working against me and creating more stressors than benefits.
Yes. And I feel like I started to feel it. I really think that I started to feel it was in my 30s when I was like training for half marathons and I was doing all the things. I was like, I'm going to drop pounds. I wanted to get the baby weight off. I was like, what better way to do it than to run like all the time and run a half marathon? And while it was an amazing experience, and I would never take that back because accomplishing that was cool, I didn't lose a single pound and I felt the stress. And so I think that I understand what it means when it can actually increase your cortisol and eat into your muscle. I honestly felt like my body felt the stress. And so it's kind of a bummer, but also kind of a relief to understand that this is something that might be hindering you more than helping.
I know that my knees felt it. I loved it. I loved running.
Yes.
I loved it. But my knees said otherwise.
That is always what catches up with us is the freaking knees. So let's talk about what works better. We know that prioritizing heavy strength training 3 times a week is like the rock, the foundation of what fitness needs to look like for women. And so this is the biggest game changer that you can do for your body right now. That's just hands down the biggest game changer. Now, what you want to do in addition to that, when it comes to cardio to get your heart health, your metabolic benefits, these things is short bursts of effort. Quick, powerful moves like fast stairs, short sprints, dancing hard for 20 to 30 seconds, followed by an easy and full recovery. So we're talking about all out effort for 20 to 30 seconds and then a full recovery for like up to 2 minutes. And you want to do this 3 to 4 times over. So think like sprint interval training or high intensity interval training is what we're talking about here.
And I think this is so hard for women because I don't know about you, but I don't want to run. I don't want to full on out like sprint. There's so few things. I am ready
Yeah.
for a jog. I'm ready to listen to my book. I'm ready to ruck or walk fast, but
That's what you want. You want the zone 2 training. You don't want to have to go full effort.
I don't want exactly. So it's working against what I want to do. And so, but
Yeah.
that's why you have to be intentional about it and you have to force yourself. And I worked out with Soraya a couple of weeks ago and she made me sprint up this hill and then walk down and then sprint up the hill and walk down. She made me do it 10 times. But
10.
it was, I know, but it was that sprinting. It's almost like you have to do it with a group. You need to find another person in your life, whether it's your kids, don't do your husband or your kids. Actually, I think, no, actually your kids might motivate you, but do it with somebody and just sprint and run for 30 seconds, 20 or 30 seconds, and then, relax for 2 minutes and then sprint. Because it is something that is not natural, but it's something that is so beneficial.
Yes, very effective and not very time consuming, which is one thing
Very
that I
short
love about
time.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very short time.
So I do it with battle ropes, the big old ropes at the gym that you got to it is very effective for that because it is such a freaking all effort exercise.
Do you have battle ropes at your house?
I did. I bought some. I went to Dick's Sporting Goods or something and bought some because I have a little mini gym in our basement. And so I added those to my gym this year.
Wow. When I come out, I'm going to try that. That's a great thing. See, I could do spurts more of that than actually full on sprinting. But sprinting
Yes.
is so powerful. So it's like you got to do a mixture of both.
Yeah, you got to do a mixture. And it's hilly where you are and it's hilly where I am. So we can that's still a very good one. And we have a brutal hill. I mean, I've talked about it before on this podcast. My house is at the bottom of a hill. So whenever we have to walk to the bus stop, I should just do that hill. You and me together when you come visit. Get ready.
Yeah. Yeah, because sprint up it and then walk down it and then sprint up it and walk down it. But you could sprint on a flat surface. You don't have to have a hill.
That's true. And you can do it on a treadmill. Set it, although I think it's going to be easier to get all out effort if you're doing it at an incline. But you could do flat surface and just have to, run faster. So
I think about going to the track and just sprint.
Yeah. Yep. There's so many ways you can do it. So you find what works for you, but this is very effective for the amount of time that you're spending. And then the next thing would be daily walking. And this is huge. For us, we love rucking. So this kind of checks that box. You're aiming for more regular walks and especially after meals. We talked about this when it comes to managing your glucose, your blood sugar. That's going to be a big part. Pair these two together and you're hitting two birds with one stone. So, but the more that you move, the better. You want to be at least 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day, more if you consider yourself a very active person. So.
And it helps with cortisol. It declines your cortisol. So just moving, whenever you're stressed, get up and move. And it immediately turns that cortisol into movement and action and gets rid of the stress versus keeping inside your body.
Well, because that's what cortisol is for. Your body is producing more cortisol because it's like a fight or flight and it needs to help you survive and get you out of whatever stressful situation you're in. So if you move your body, you're using that cortisol, which is what you need to do. So
in a healthy way.
In a healthy way. Good outlet.
Yeah.
That is true. So, I mean, with all of this, what we're saying is, sprint interval training, high intensity interval training, but it's got to be the type where you're doing the full all out effort for 20 to 30 seconds and then taking the time to recover fully. That's key. And then the daily just moving more is kind of more of the direction that you want to move. But zone 2 still has a place, which is where zone 2 is kind of where you get your cardio, where you get moving, but you can still have a conversation. Like you're going for a walk, you're rucking, but you can still talk to the person next to you. But if you were on the phone, then they could tell that you were a little bit breathless is the idea.
Breathy.
Yes. Yep. And so if there's a hobby that you love, like dance, cycling, you're going to do those things because you love them, but it's not going to get you the health outcomes that you necessarily think you're going to be getting. We just want to point that out.
Yeah. And hiking, but they're all good for the soul. So they definitely have a place and get you out and get you socializing with other people and gets you out in nature and it makes you feel good. So it's definitely a huge place, but just know it's not as effective as short-term sprinting.
Yeah. The sprint interval. Yeah, exactly. That is true. It's very good for the soul. That's why I like rucking and it's hilly. So you can get your sprint interval training in too. It just is like, it just hits so many birds with this stone.
And it's building a healthy heart and it's lowering your cortisol. It's all the good things.
Yeah, that's true. Like combining strength, power moves, and walking. It's great for building and protecting a strong, healthy heart. in addition to all these things. So it's just a win-win-win.
And for all of those listeners who are still in their 20s, strength training is still the biggest rock, but they have more flexibility to mix in longer cardio sessions if they love running or cycling like we did when we were younger, without much risk of muscle loss or cortisol issues. So generally, the younger you are, you recover faster through stressful situations, and then the older you get, the recovery is slower.
Right.
So you have a little more flexibility in your youth, but just know that the flexibility is short and lived.
Yeah. Yep.
And then prevention is key, like building muscle and bone density now create a bigger reserve for perimenopause later. And you may not care about it now, but later on you'll thank yourself that you did. And building muscle and bone density now creates a bigger reserve for perimenopause later because you will lose it very quickly. So it's just like a retirement savings account. And if you withdraw, you're not going to have any when you need it when you retire. So you really want to put in as much deposits as you can into your bones so that you have the reserve for when you're older.
Yep. Yep. And heart health benefits are, excellent with the same mix. So even in your 20s, your strength, your steps, your sprint interval training, these can still give you peak heart health, even though you have that cushion to be able to do higher intensity things. Mix them all in, have some fun with it. This is the time when you get to have some fun with your fitness. And, overall, though, like you don't need to overhaul everything yet, but the strength era habits, by adopting them early, can give you some massive advantages heading into your 30s. So,
And you'll love yourself.
yeah, and it's easier to build those habits now than fix the issues later, speaking from experience.
And we're not quitting cardio. We're just upgrading it to work with our seasons of life and to make more as productive as you can with the time that you have because time is so limited. So really, it's just saving time. So now we're going to do our fun segment, cardio or strength, rapid fire game. We're very excited about this. So I'm going to tell you how it works. So I'm going to throw out some different workout activities or beliefs, and Mallory has to quickly shout out cardio or strength. And then we'll say why it matters now in our new way of thinking, rethinking cardio. You can play along at home too. You can pause. You can yell out the answer. Wish we could hear all of you, but Mallory's going to represent you today.
Yeah.
So,
Woo!
Mallory, are you ready?
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Okay. First one, hours of steady treadmill running every day, cardio or strength?
I'm going to have to go with cardio on that one.
But in the old days, we thought this was the golden ticket. Now we know too much of long cardio can raise cortisol and eat away at your muscles, especially in perimenopause.
Yep.
So good for you, Mallory. Point for you.
Boom.
All right, next one. Lifting heavy weights, 4 to 6 reps like squats or deadlifts. Cardio or strength?
That is definitely strength. I'm going to have to say because it's compound movements, you're lifting weights. I mean, come on, squats, that's definitely strength.
And you should definitely have gotten that right because we just did our strength series. So
I know, right? That would be really
Dr.
sad.
Sims, Dr. Wright, and Dr. Means will all appreciate you right now.
So I was right.
Yep, you are right.
I like this game.
All right, that's because you're winning. If you don't win, you don't like the game, usually. All right, so here's your next one. 20 to 30 second all-out sprint efforts with long recovery. Cardio or strength?
Ooh, we just talked about this. So this is definitely cardio.
Yes, those short, powerful bursts is a smart cardio. So yes, you're right. True HIIT.
Woo! Yes, I love it.
True HIIT done the right way gives heart benefits without the stress. So it's short, quick, and meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one. Long, slow bike rides for an hour.
Long, slow bike rides for an hour. This would definitely have to be cardio.
Yes, it's an old school cardio. Good job.
Woo!
Still fun, still good for the soul, but it's not the main focus anymore.
Right.
And walking, if you do it after meals, it's even better.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'm like 100% right on all these answers. I'm so proud of myself right now.
Well, you are helping our listeners understand that. So I'm really glad that you know what you're talking about.
I better. I did all this research.
All right, okay, last one. What's the real star for women in their 30s, 40s, and beyond? Endless cardio or building muscle?
Ooh, we talked about this too at length. Building muscle.
And which is builds our
Strength!
Yay!
It's too fun.
Yeah, so silly, but I love it. So this game really shows how much we have really thought about and changed from cardio versus strength. And we really hope that you look at cardio not as the main source of longevity, but as a tool.
Yes, I love it. Such a fun game. So this is our big takeaway from this little aside from our strength era. Rethinking cardio is not about doing less. It's about doing smarter. We're prioritizing strength training. We're adding short, powerful bursts and simply walking more, especially after big meals, to give us way better results with a lot less stress on our bodies.
And from one moment to another, our approach to health and lifestyle has to change as we age. And these are the things we're seeing actually work in real life based on the research. And fitness is not optional. If you want to age gracefully and have a true healthy lifespan,
True health span.
true health span, then we need to rethink what we are doing and what works.
Exactly. So share one small cardio or movement win in our community this week, My Wellness Rewired on Facebook. We're going to keep plugging the Facebook group because it's awesome and you want to be there. So we want to cheer each other on as we step into this strength era, our strength era together.
And remember, ladies, our mission is simple: to help you truly know your body and take ownership of your health, one biohack at a time. Our own families' health curveballs has pushed us deep into the journey. And wow, what we have learned has changed everything and continues to change everything. So we want to share it with as many women as possible. So if you like our episode, if it lit a spark in you, make sure you like and share it with anyone that you want to share the message with, especially the women in your life and in your families.
And we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
So, blah. Okay, take 900.
Tell us about that. The hills.
Oh, and I was like, I don't know.
You're aiming for just more regular walkouts. But it's not going to get you the health outcomes.
And longer cardio sessions. Let me try it again. Did we talk about it in this episode? Not in this episode, huh?
All right, you wellness rock stars. That's a wrap on this episode of My Wellness Rewired, Hacking Women's Health. We've had a blast dishing out the hacks and laughs, but hold up, let's keep it real.
Yep, we are not doctors. We are just sharing our biohacking adventures and learning right alongside you. Nothing we say is medical advice, so always, always check with your healthcare provider before trying any new wellness tricks.
Absolutely. This podcast is all about inspiration and entertainment, not prescriptions. So join our Facebook group for more sassy wellness vibes. Catch you next time.